because we're trying to reach.
Guys, I feel
Um,
horrible because I know people who couldn't come today and we weren't recording. So I hope you don't mind. I just started the recording. Sorry to interrupt.
no, that's good. Um,
Okay, I will
Good
put
wrap.
my thinking cap on as to any songs, but right this second, nothing is rising to the surface.
Okay.
And
Nope.
I think just if you're thinking about like just music that you hear a lot, either if it's on the radio or, and I don't know as far as like what copyright, I don't know anything about like
Oh,
what we're allowed to use, even if we're changing the lyrics.
Something
But
danceable or
yeah,
walk down the runwayable.
for the raps, they don't really need to be, but I guess it could be cool to have an audio of the lyrics change to a music that you know as somebody is going down the runway. That could be cool too.
Since I think what Danelle's saying, Diane, is since the rap facts, we're gonna call it rap facts. Here, let me put that in notes here. Say rap. Is it? I can't tell. Is the rap facts aren't occurring basically at the same time as the runway models are walking? That's what I think she's trying to say. That's why they don't have to be at that pace.
Okay.
Yes, so that'll also make it maybe easier to think of songs, so you don't have to think of all of those different things at the same time. I really, really, really hate a lot of music that's like the cha-cha slide and stuff, but that's what comes to mind is like those songs where like everybody knows it. It's the thing to get everyone on the dance floor, even though personally it's like nails on a chalkboard, but it works. It works. So things like that where it doesn't have to be danceable or anything, because this is a separate section, as Tamala had said. And the same thing for like with the flash mob. I don't know if you had mentioned that before I joined.
I haven't got to that yet, and
Okay.
so
Sorry.
go ahead and break into that. Go ahead.
So we were asking the kids to like hopefully get reach to participate and kind of create a flash mob dance. Pretty simple. If they can't participate, I'm sure we can do it anyway. But do you know what a flash mob is?
Me, yeah.
Okay. Everybody, I just like everybody.
Airport, and you think it's just regular people, and then all of a sudden
Yes.
someone starts singing opera or playing a violin. Yeah, it's
It's
gorgeous.
yeah, so everybody starts, it's the dance particularly is the one that I know of where like one person starts dancing and everyone's like, what is this crazy person doing? And then another random person who looks like they're shopping in the window joins in with like, and then there's a whole group and they're doing the same dance. And so we're gonna kind of have them like sprinkled around, and then that would get the attention of attendees at the to like get them interested in our area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that song, I don't know, but that would, those are each like kind of their own categories where again, we don't, it doesn't need to be runway walkable song to do that too.
well, you're talking about copyright, and actually, I'm thinking that a flash mob. I've never heard of anybody sued for a flash mob, but I have
Right.
heard of people using a song politically, and then the artist says, no, 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 you can't do that. I don't know if you'd be in any liability, if you tried to do a parody. You might, technically, I don't know.
I'm
Julia,
sure we
Yeah.
can find out.
Julia, do
Yeah.
you or could one of you here go to your public library and ask the resource person about that? And
My nephew's wife lives in New York, and what she does is she researches copyrights on songs to figure
Okay.
out whether I'm not going to ask her, I don't know. She does that for companies and stuff where they find if something's in the political, if then they what do you call it, the public domain or not. I just don't know. I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
That'd
I
be
know it also depends on the duration, how much of the song you're using. And so if you do a mashup of various songs and you're not exceeding that time limit, then there's no copyright issue. And I can't imagine that anyone would, first of all, sue us. But again, if we could also be trying to like broadcast it or like record some of it, because it would be cool to get video of what we've done. I'm trying to find my charger for my computer that's trying to die. So I think also some colleges might have good input on that, because again, like doing student events and
Oh, yeah.
using music for those. So
I'm
yeah.
a Messiah alumni, and I know that this past summer they were going to do a play and they had to cancel it because they didn't have the permission or the rights ahead. So I know they should know about that.
Julia, you said you're going to ask it was your sister-in-law?
It's my nephew's wife. I can try to contact her and see if she knows anything. You know, I don't know. I can try that. I don't really know enough about it. Yeah.
Okay. Law on music use. Okay. So I'm putting that down as a task for you to do.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. I just spelled. Okay. And, it's because I'm going to start, you know, accumulating our tasks here for different people as we move through this. How's that? So we've got name and task. Okay, so let me just do that. And okay, so I'm just gonna back up since I did forget to start the recording, and because Danelle and Diane and Julia came in a little bit late and you might have missed us, so I'm going to super fast fly through the stuff we missed. I talked about one of the categories we need to think about is lighting. It's going to be in a tent, and I'm going to wait for Karen to tell me what they're going to have already set up for the other entertainment, and then we'll see if we need something different. Props, the kind of things that I thought we might have for props, if any, we might not have any, choose to have anything, but if we did have something, what was coming to my mind would be like a lounger or some chairs strategically placed for the models to go on and still display themselves, and or signage or something. So we can come back and circle through that later. We've got to deal with sound issues, and in that is the music, which we're talking about now. And so we are talking, you know, do we want it live, or do we want a playlist? And I mentioned Karen was thinking a playlist is probably better, but you know, we need to figure that out. I had talked about what the MC would do, and I started putting that in the job description here. And so the MC would take the model's card. They would just have a little index card, and on that, so like before their turn would come up, you know, right before they started their walk, they could just pass the card to the MC. That way the MC isn't having to hold a bunch of papers and fly through a bunch of papers and whatever. And if for some reason we needed to have the models come out of order or whatever, it would uncomplicate the MC saying the right things, right? So the on the card would be maybe the model's name, where they shopped for the clothing, the amount they spent, if it was natural fabrics. And then I asked if you guys could think of anything else that the MC would want to say about the model and when they walked, if there was anything else. Does anybody have anything there?
I guess if we do kind of like run throughs once we figure out the song, and we need to know the length of the runway, how much space we're going to have, if we can make it like kind of a loop thing, or like a square.
Yeah.
Like part of
yeah, that goes back into we'll put props and stage. Yeah, I asked Karen about that, and so she's gonna stage.
Well, just because, I mean, it's important anyway, but also for the amount of time that the model's going to be on stage, how much time do we have to talk, and how much time we want not to be talking and just to be the music.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we could always, things that we could add would be like their favorite item, like their favorite thing about the outfit that they've put together, like, or, yeah, that's
Yes, I'm
actually
liking this. So let's say we had props, runway. What else did you say that we need, things that we'll need? Let me go back over here. Things they like about how they put it together. How, let's see.
like their favorite thing about the outfit. Like,
Yes, I like that.
If it's, I was kind of wondering, are you gonna restrict this to reused fabrics, fair trade fabrics, or only natural fabrics that don't shed plastic? 'Cause I mean,
I was gonna, we can all decide, but in my head, I was thinking of just strictly making it items that come through reuse. And it could be you taking your items from your closet and sewing them to something else, as Danelle does all the time. And even I do some of the time. Or it could be going and purchasing at a reused store. That's kind of what I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
I think any which way would be really cool. But I think it would definitely be easier for people to have the leeway to pick from any of those. And maybe that's something that's on the card where you said like where they shopped would also could include like their own closet, or and like repurposing something could be from their home. But
Well, I kind of don't want them to just walk in their closet and get out their
no,
favorite
not their
outfit.
clothes. No,
Because it
no.
could
But
be
I
from
mean,
TJ Maxx or Kohl's or something.
right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. No, I mean like repurposed, as you said, like this was a blanket and now I turned it into a jacket or whatever. Like if they didn't buy it from the store, but they repurposed it, then that could be on there. But I don't think, or if it's fair trade, if they were like, I really want to wear something that is all natural fabrics, then we're highlighting what that can look like.
Yeah.
Can you wear all natural fabrics? And this person is doing it and it looks great. Like, so maybe it could be all over the place.
the
Yeah.
reason
And
why
I didn't want to restrict polyester, nylon, spandex fabrics, because if we did that, it's going to be kind of difficult. But also it's better that we currently, and until people start putting in water filters in their wash machines, which we're going to talk about as well. Here, let me just add a note of that. Wash machine filters, filter types, because that'll be one of the things, you know, that we talk about is how much microfibers. They're the number one microplastic in our waterways and our land and our oceans, and most of it of course comes from our washing machines. Think about how much lint you have in your lint filter, right? And then more than that, I don't want to say double or quadruple. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked that up yet, but it's on my to-do list. But definitely, I would think at least double would come out in the wash machine. But so yeah, natural fabrics. And then Danelle, you were saying about if it was certified or something.
Trade or organic material, or like if there are other added benefits, because that's socially responsible, but also environmentally.
I'm forgetting there's quite a few certified ecological certified certificates. So I'll just put ... on that. But yes, I think that's another good addition to this. Thank you.
Yeah, Taylor, I was asking myself, because I have bought a lot of repurposed stuff over the years, now I'm moving more towards, I mean, I always liked cotton, but now, like, I have a skirt that is recycled saris, but it's all polyester, so I was like, you know, I just wasn't sure where to go with that. And I was looking on 10,000 Villages just before the meeting on their website. And they do have clothing that's certified with natural dyes, because that's a whole nother issue.
Yes.
As well as
yes.
the, you know, there's so many different aspects of it that you're showing how fast fashion is bad, but it has so many parts of it, you know, the dyes that go in the river, the abuse of people, you know, all these different many things. I'm not sure how to capsulize all of that.
Yes, absolutely. Uh, there are a ton of components to fast fashion. And one of the things that I, you know, can do is break down these. And then as we're discussing, I'm adding them here. And then, you know, maybe each of us can take a segment and condense it down to the bare minimum, most important things. And then those will become our message that the reach group or the, you know, the MC or whoever, you know, the models or our signs will talk about our message, right? So we have our messaging. Okay, so we can add to that as we go. Any more? This was going back to the card that the MC was given. Okay, so let's go finish our MC. And then you guys came in on, we were talking about the MC delivering the, may or may not deliver the message, because we might have alternative forms for delivering that with maybe the reach dancers or signs, or maybe we could even, oh, you know, it'd be cool, just now occurred to me, we could make it interactive where we could I got to go back to the other thing and put this in. So we could even do a combo of things. So here's an idea. Like if we had a little 8x5 message, you know, like a message on an 8x5 or even a half sheet of paper, right? We got to say paper, right? But basically a message, and we randomly passed them out to the audience. And then it would have a number on it. So if we, you know, we, after some X models go by, we say, number 1, do you have something to tell us, you know, or whatever, you know, or, you know, we would tell the audience when your number gets called, you know, stand up and declare your message. Because then that have audience participation. Once again, I'm not up there standing and just spitting out facts, and that could make it more dynamic. What do you guys think about that idea?
I like that. If you're giving them the card and it says the fact and having that person read it.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Now,
they would be able to project their voice enough.
well, we would make sure that they had a mic. There's cordless mics.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, when they'd stand up, we'd have to have a runner who would pass them the mic. You know, they'd stand up and hold up their sign. The person could come give them a mic, and then they could say it. Now, the only thing with doing that is it could slow things down. But if we pass the signs out kind of strategically and the person's there ready to quickly give the mic and they're paying attention to the order of show. So, you know, they know, okay, I've got to find give this mic to number 1 right about now. They could just be prepared, and it could be pretty quick. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's an idea to hold on to. I like that.
I think it's good to have people involved, because then they're thinking more.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. More alert.
I can't seem to spell audience. Is it an E?
It's E, not A.
There we go. I was like, okay. Let's see, cordless mic, we need a number, message on paper. Okay. All right. So, okay, so that takes care of dancers. We kind of already talked about the reuse clothing and the fact that, you know, what our parameters for that are going to be. And so we're going to accept any reused store clothing, even plastic fabrics. And we are going to accept repurposed clothing that someone has made from their previous clothes, their curtains, or whatever, that we're going to accept that. And then I've started a list of reuse and consignment stores here in the area. And I know we have a whole bunch more, but Marie came on and she's from Philly. And so that begs the question, should we just restrict the reuse clothing from stores in our area? I kind of think, why not open it up to any model who's willing to come model and showcase their outfit, even if they're coming from, you know, further away. And then that also will encourage participation from people coming from all over the state. And, you know, Philly is really close, and I think that would be good. That's my thought, but you guys, what do you think?
Definitely. Yeah.
I used to purchase these items as gift baskets through a ministry that our church does, and they wanted mittens for ladies. So I went on Etsy and I would find these repurposed mittens made out of felted wool sweaters that they would cut pieces out of and stuff.
Okay.
So I know there's a lot of stuff out there. I just didn't know how you were going to like have people bring their own stuff that they've already paid for.
So,
You know, I wasn't
that's we'll get to that next, but I liked the gift basket idea. What if we can solicit certificates from reuse stores or discounts from these reuse stores for people to go and visit?
That might work for some of the consignment stores, but places like Salvation Army or like Community Aid and stuff, they already have such huge discounts
yeah.
on a regular
yeah,
basis. I feel like and they're, you know, all volunteer
you
and stuff.
can
But I think
get gift cards. You can get gift cards
Gift
though
cards,
to
yes.
community aid stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I was just thinking of like if it was like something that was provided by the store, or like an extra discount provided by the store. I mean, it's not like it's not worth asking, but I just would think that, and I mean, it's for a community purpose. So maybe they would do that. Maybe it was too quick to say they.
Okay.
No, I think generally they wouldn't for something like this. I thought you meant, okay. I didn't know who was providing it.
What I'm saying is, do we want to consider trying to get gift cards or discount coupons or certificates from any reuse store to be able to do giveaways for those who attend?
So are we buying them, or are you?
Yeah,
asking
I
them to
thought you
buy
meant we were buying it. I didn't.
No, I have no money.
Right. That's what that's what it was.
If people,
So you're
if-
saying that the store would do it because they wanted to promote themselves. So she's right. It would probably be the consignment stores that would do that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a side note on the music, whenever you're ready. Not
Okay,
doesn't have to be
one second. Let me just, whoops. Okay, wait, I deleted and then I came over here to paste it, and it's not pasting. Hold on a minute. Where did I have it? Oh, it was in materials. Okay, let's try to delete it again. Copy. Okay, I just wanted to finish up, because is it gonna fall under our category that we're working on? Or something else? Because we're working on the reused clothing aspect.
No, this is on the music.
Okay, so anything else? Oh, yes. There is some things that I did want to say on this. Okay. So we kind of have a little barrier, but I think we can overcome it. For the clothing stores like Community Aid, Salvation Army, some thrift stores, this isn't, wouldn't be a problem for a model to walk in, try on clothes, sign them out and bring them back. To the store. However, it would be a problem for a consignment shop because items at a consignment get discounted as time goes by. So if the model, say, walks in a month before the event, picks out an outfit, then meanwhile, that item might have cost $20, but by the time they model and bring it back, it might be down to $5. So then the person who took their their clothing to the consignment, they're going to end up with $5 instead of 20, and that's not great, right? And then also, even for the thrifts and the community aids and the non-consignment reuse stores, it is kind of hard because maybe some of the better outfits will get taken for modeling, right? And then so they wouldn't be making money on it.
I don't think I personally am not sure they would let you just check out outfits there, because all their policies are once you buy something, you can't return it.
Right.
Plus,
Yeah.
plus
Well,
I'm also, yeah.
I've talked to these
Okay.
consignment stores here, and I haven't talked about that issue with the Carriage House or See Love recently, but I did talk to time and again Where's Like New and See Love earlier. They are all 3 consignments, so is Carriage House, and they told me that they are willing, but that is kind of a problem. So that means the models might have to go and try on outfits a week, maybe 2 at most before. But so my thought is to get around that, we kind of have 2 possible options. And one is to just have the people, the models, go to different stores, find stuff that they actually like and want to purchase it, document where they purchased, how much it is, and make note of it, get that information to me, and like all the stuff that we're going to put on the MC card, right? And have them give that to me, and then they just wear it the day of, and then that would eliminate them needing to return it, any price loss, etc., etc. So we could just do that, and or I could go back to the climate convergence, talk to Karen, which I did mention to her today during our outreach committee meeting, of possibly needing money to help subsidize the consignments, but like you guys mentioned, Julia and stuff, that they really don't want to because the item is still technically someone else's, right? It's not technically the store's, and the store is taking the item under protection, right? Like the person who's putting it up for consignment could just be taking it back, and it better come back in the same position, right? Or same condition, sorry, not position. So I'm kind of erring on, let's find models who are willing to go to their reuse stores and just buy 1 to 3 outfits to model or something. What do you guys think? Because that would eliminate any complications.
Oops. I think that would be a good idea. My other question is that for people who, I know you don't want people going into their wardrobes and picking their favorite outfit, but like Peyton, for example, or myself, if she finds something at Plato's Closet for $3 and it's super cute, and she did it 5 months ago, doesn't have time to go shopping again, then
If the
I feel-
person knows, if a model knows they got it from a reuse store, I say let it count.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how I
Absolutely.
feel too.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
I think maybe that is the easiest way to go. Maybe though, if there is a concern for somebody not feeling like even that is something that they could swing, maybe some of like the kids, if they're participating, then, but kids are tricky because then like how responsible are they going to be to bring it back? And that's with anybody, like once, are they really going to follow through?
Yeah.
It's an extra step and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of think that's the easiest way to go.
Okay, then we will just do that. And so when we make the the flyer, etc., for requesting models, that's what, you know, one of the components that we could do. Okay, so on that note, just real quick, we needed this to-do list. Do I have a volunteer here that's willing to compile write up and create or create a flyer message that we will be sending out to get models?
I can help with that.
Okay, great.
Sorry, I'm
And
scarfing
so-
down my dinner.
No, I know. It's okay. It's all good.
How are you gonna send the flyer out? On,
Yeah, so once Danelle creates it, and then I, you know, send it to you guys for us to make any tweaks or additions to it, then I will send it to you guys, and we can all blast it to everybody we know, all of our groups or organizations or churches or whatever's.
And obviously on Facebook,
Yeah,
like the MPP.
absolutely. So social media, so important, right? Okay, so let's see where got order, show, supplies, materials, to do's. Oh, it's probably over here. There it is. Okay. So let me just add this. Danelle, you can access, I'll get you access to this, and let's see. Whoops. And then so I've got some of the information that you'll need to put. Actually, it's kind of all here, right here under model. So embed this information in the flyer, okay? All right. Okay, so Marie, we haven't heard from you. Anything?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. So far as models, we've sort of talked around this already. It seems like all of us are in agreement that we don't, and I don't want to presume though. How about I'll rephrase so I don't lead the answer to the question. I know this is a teacher, do not do we want to solicit a modeling agency to get our models, or do we want to find local people? This probably should have prefaced everything we just talked about, but we kind of, I think, already answered this. We're already, I think, agreeing to just get normal people to be models, right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Normal people. All right. No. Okay, so that's good. Now, the one thing is, I had put modeling agency, not because I want the modeling agency to provide us models. I'm not saying that they couldn't, because a person who's a model is a normal person and they are part of the population. And yes, they can participate. We are not going to exclude a model any more than, we would exclude anybody else, right? So what the modeling agency could do is, I think, I don't know that we have to go for one. And I say this because I just talked to my neighbor. She used to be a model, and I asked her if she would be willing to take a time and we could have a modeling party where my neighbor Teresa could teach people how to walk, how to stage walk. And so maybe we could have a couple of sessions just for people who maybe are comfortable, but they still want to participate, but they would like to feel more competent in doing that. So with the modeling agency and or Teresa or anybody you guys know. So Marie, you're in Philadelphia, right? People aren't going to drive all the way to Carlisle unless you guys got a group of you and you came down and we had the party and you would stay at my house and we'd have a really great time. Of course, that would work out beautifully. But if that isn't a possibility, but we have models from different areas, it would be good if we could find a person or a modeling agency who would take, some time to help our models learn how to do a runway walk and showcase their clothing. What do you guys think on that? Do you think that's something we should do and be helpful and add some fun to everything?
I definitely think so. Even if it's not a modeling agency. I know I mentioned it to you, Tamala, the other day, but my like a volunteer group did something similar to this in college, and it made a massive difference. How people walked initially versus after. Even I don't even remember if it was, I think we did like 2 sessions, but it wouldn't have to be
Yeah.
2. We could run 2 for anybody who wanted to come twice, but that way maybe offering 2 different slots or something like that. But even within one, it was a marked difference. It's gonna, I'll show.
Okay, wonderful. And so I know, so I know I talked to you, Danelle, and you were excited about doing it, and same with Teresa. And so, if we could get you guys to do it at the same time together, because, we could have more one-on-one. And if not, separate sessions, like you're saying, more than one session to kind of meet people's needs would be good. And for more practice, and because we're going to really have fun while we're doing it, we're going to have food, and we're going to have a modeling party, right? So we'll put modeling party. Okay, so any other weigh-ins? Diane, Maria, Julia, what do you think about our modeling party? Good thing?
Sounds like lots of fun.
They want to do it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Tamala, I'm kind of wondering if the models are picking the clothing themselves, how are you going to have the interaction between all of the consignment stores that we're picking and the fact that the model might bring something reused from a totally different place or make their own?
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to represent all these people?
Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is, and that, make sure, let's get that on the flyer actually. So we need to make sure we get the like the people who RSVP, and like we'll make the flyer, it'll have a QR code and a hyperlink to register to be a model. right? And then when people register to be a model, then we will give them what they need to do in detail to be a model. So Danelle, you're gonna, if you don't mind, you'll make a flyer that'll have the sparser information, and then you'll make the email for us that we will send once the model registers, and that will detail everything to them. So the other thing that they'll need to do is to get the name of the name of the place they purchase clothes, and then we'll need them to get like the phone number, and email, and contact. And then what we'll do is we'll reach out independently once we have that, and ask the clothing store person to then give us, you know, they'll need to give us their logo, their like a little mini bio that the MC will, you know, use. That's how we're going to do it, unless you have other ideas.
Well, what
Anybody-
I'm trying to say is, you know, say you have 10 models, and, you know, 5 of them get from the Carriage House and somebody else gets from Plato's Closet, and we've already established a contact with somebody that works at Wears Like New, and then nobody picks any clothing from there. Is that going to make somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so if yes, so your question's kind of twofold. So number one, we will group all the models who get from Wears Like New onto the runway back to back to go through. So that
Okay.
way we're only introducing Wears Like New once, right? Because we don't
Okay.
have time to every other model introduce
Yeah.
Wears Like New, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing. We will cluster the models from the stores they've picked. Okay. 2, if there are stores that a model that we don't have models representing their clothing, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that you know, I can do is if we have reached out, you know, Maria, you reach out to your reuse stores in your area and whatever, and a model doesn't come in, but you ask them if they were willing, I mean, technically speaking, the way we're doing it now, honestly, we owe no obligation to
No.
promote and market any reuse store. Honestly,
No, you're
we
right.
don't.
Yeah.
Thinking also that we're like, we would still be promoting them by
By
providing
promoting
the
reuse,
information
yeah.
that and if we had like, here's a list of in this area, even if it wasn't on the runway, we could still include it on the list of like, have a little write-up of like thrift stores and consignment stores that we could give people or whatever. But yeah, we don't have any obligation. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
just wasn't sure, like, when you had us going, if we were saying, hey, we're gonna promote you or not, or just saying, hey, would you like to? The other thing that I was thinking too is if you're doing people, are you talking about people who make their own clothing or just who repurpose?
I don't know. Let's think about that. Do we want to include make your own?
I honestly, my feeling on that is probably not, because from what little experience I have is that those people are purchasing, like they're still purchasing the material, the fabric
Okay,
to either put
yeah.
it together, and that's all, like usually it's new, or the yarn or whatever, then
Yeah.
then
Okay.
it's more like a craft show, and
Yeah, I just wasn't sure where to go with that because I know a lot of people who crochet and stuff. But first of all, a lot of it is acrylic. There's only some that use alpaca or something natural, which is still better than plastic, but it would go on the rule the craft show. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Danelle,
think it's a good question, but
I think it's an excellent question, but I agree with your response to it because I'm a sewer, you're a sewer, and yeah, that would be nice, but you're absolutely right. We are trying to promote a reuse economy. I just visited a fabric store yesterday while I was in the visiting consignments, and so I was like so wanting to sew again. So it doesn't mean like it's horrible and bad to sew and buy new fabric, but yes, I agree that we don't want to be scattered with our message, and our message is you know, ideally you want to buy natural fabrics, and then we'll give people, you know, we're going to make a resource toolkit. And the resource toolkit can include, you know, well, let me go with what it will include. It will include resources for types of best fabrics and materials for your clothing to get. It will address PFAS and talk about that. It will address the types of fabrics to avoid. There's just to circle back to, do we advertise people in the resource and any of our promotional literature? So I'm kind of feeling conflicted now. At first I had all intentions to do that. Now I'm like, that's kind of spotlighting one reuse store over another. But then yet, if we don't do that, it might inhibit people from going to seek reuse. So by highlighting some stores, yes, we're getting them into some over others, but at least we're getting people to go to a reuse store,
yeah.
and then they will hopefully seek out others. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think that there's no need for us to have an extensive list. People are from different areas. Just having some places, I think, is good enough. It's not like we're saying not to go to other places.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so you don't think there's harm in at least listing the models locations? How about we just keep it to that? The models locations. That sound good? Okay, so now by doing it the way we're doing it, we no longer have to spend time going to the consignment stores and asking them permission if they want to participate, yada, yada, yada. We've kind of taken that element out. So that simplifies our to-do list, yes?
So you don't need any more listed on the spreadsheet, any more stores.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put the store, I'm gonna keep the stores that have already said that they are, you know, want to participate, just because I know these stores are in our area, Julia, and I'm guessing when we put the blast through, these are some good stores that people will use, and then I don't have to sit here and retype them. So I'm not going to delete them. I'm guessing the models will come back with some of these, and then those will go on the MC cards. Do you see what I'm saying? But yes, I will not continue to add to this list until the models send me further information with their store source. Okay. All right, guys, it is 7 o'clock. I think we did super tremendous. Now, I will get all of you access to this document, and I have another one over here as well. Let's see. This is just in general the stuff that I had written up about the climate convergence and testifying. Let's see, did I have anything else? Okay, and then these are just brainstorming things here. I think what we can do is, since I've put all of this stuff into our spreadsheet, what can go in here could be more like our message, and our emails that we're going to be sending out. So our social media messages, our email messages, and then what can go in here is, or we could also put it in the Excel spreadsheet, is our questions. So not just the pre-messages, but the day of messages. And that, like, the day of message are examples like this: where do my clothes go, what percent, because this is a climate convergence, we got to hit climate stuff, right? So like the percent of greenhouse gas emissions, et cetera, right? So we need to start brainstorming our facts, right? Our rap facts, as we call them. Okay.
Are you going to address at all the issue of, I mean, we're talking about what it costs to produce the clothing. We're also going to talk about disposing of all this clothing.
Yeah, let's get that down. Yeah, let's quickly brainstorm different aspects. Okay, so we have yeah, let's just type it. Okay, so cost, production cost, and so some of the so production costs would be, oh, hold on, I'm going to just back this up one second. Production cost, disposal, and then in use cost. Hey, these could be our 3 sections.
There's a they have all those documentaries you can watch on YouTube, but I've seen the ones where they send all of our discarded clothes to these places in Africa where they've got so much, it just pollutes the whole, yeah.
Absolutely. So in use would be like your microfibers. Okay, and then disposal costs. So we have methane, EJ. Okay, so let's just quickly brainstorm before we sign off. What are other things that could be under each of these that we could cover? And what you guys can do, just like Julia was saying, why don't you guys do your research and watch videos, read articles on this, and let's all together start filling this in with our message, okay? Under message. All right, sound good? And then we'll like condense.
What does EJ stand for?
EJ is in environmental justice issues, just like you're saying, we're shipping it off
Fair trade shipping.
yeah, and so one EJ issue, this would be a sub issue, is to go with where you were at, is when we ship it to Africa, what's happening is now they have it impacts impacts like the African economy, because now they instead of being able to make their own clothing and their own fabrics and their own shoes, we've wiped that out, so they don't make their own clothing. So we're thinking, oh, we're being so generous, shipping our clothing to these poor and impoverished countries, right? You know, we're doing a good thing, right? Our churches and whatever. But actually, when we do that, we have stripped them from their own culture. You know, we've impacted their culture, their economy, and their health, right? So yes, so start learning about it, start putting things in, you know, to the whichever categories here. So let's get, this is heading 3. All right, can anybody think of anything else real quick before we say good evening?
Shipping, which I think you already kind of have in there.
What'd you say?
Shipping, but that's all part of the I guess
No,
the methane too.
Yeah, no, shipping is good. So that's gonna go, that will be in both spots, right? Because it's here and here. Well, and honestly, yeah, it's in both of those. Yep. And then so we can keep adding to this like generalization categories, but then within these generalization categories, we need to get the specific data, right? In there. Okay. So exactly how much methane, how much, you know, whatever. Okay. Oh, and just so you guys know, I did research for natural industries in Pennsylvania, and this place is glorious. The Tuscarora Mill, natural fabric. Oh my gosh, there's such cool stuff. And there's Wayne's Mill, natural textiles, and altogether it looks like natural textiles and several. Sorry, it was really late and I was like, but anyways, isn't that cool? We have this in our own state, right? Like doing stuff, you know, from hemp to rayons and flax and all kinds of neat things, organic.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. You guys, I am so happy you showed up so last minute. I know I give you a whole day or two notice, but I'm already having fun working with you guys. And before we go, I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves to each other because we didn't really do that. So go ahead, Julia, introduce yourself to everybody.
My name is Julia. I live in Mechanicsburg. I found out about Tamala through Creek organization. Always been interested in environmental issues. Thought plastic was an important one.
Awesome. And tell them what you've been working on with Move Past Plastic so far.
Oh, I helped her table 2 events and
Yep.
yeah,
And
I
she
don't
she does a wonderful job. She's so knowledgeable and just really personable and helpful. And I appreciate her so much. I love spending time with you. And by the way, Julia, we got to get together and go stand up paddleboarding. So, and Danelle, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Let me bring my face up. Hi, I'm Danelle. This is very exciting for me, this exact project, because I've been interested in sustainable fashion since I was in like middle school. So I'm super pumped. And it's always a delight to work with Tamala. I live in Carlisle and have the wonderful fortune of dating Tamala's son, Brennan. So I'm around all the time and help out when I can, how I can. Anything else I should say?
And how have you helped for MPP?
It varies. Whatever I'm called upon to do that I can. We've the crafting, making setup material for tabling events, attending tabling events, getting some of the kids that I work with to be involved in some of the activities. What was the where they held the letters up?
Yeah, it's our
I don't
art
remember what that was.
build where we
Yeah.
said it's free from fracking or something.
Yeah, making poster boards, attending rallies, speaking at something that was in Harrisburg, and yeah, generally just enjoying having the
Yeah,
opportunity
and
to do
we
stuff.
did 2 videos for a breaking
Oh, yeah,
free
yeah,
solution. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That
along
was
the
fun.
Connequin Week. Yeah, doing videos. We'll have to do some,
It was
ladies.
super
Yeah,
fun
that was super fun. We were laughing so hard.
the entire time. So I highly recommend if there's a video to do with Pamela that you do it because it was a giggle fit.
It's a complete giggle fit, but we produced and it's on YouTube, and you can go to Move Past Plastic to watch because I included the outtakes as well as the serious message.
I remember that now.
Yes. Yeah. All right. And Diane, introduce yourself.
I'm Diana. I live in
Diane.
Camp Hill. And I haven't done much for you, Tamala. I keep wanting to, but well, for one thing, I got old and I can't do as much as I used to. And well, my training is in geology, and with the Connequin Creek Watershed Association, we have planted trees in riparian buffers on public lands and in Camp Hill, and it turns out to be in other places too. There are people who don't like the trees. And so I've been working to get the trees back. I'm always busy. What am I doing? I don't know. Tamala gave me this wonderful task of going to whenever there are many things that have to be registered with the trucking companies and anybody who builds anything within a certain distance of the creek. And she sends me these things from DEP, but I don't know permits. I don't know how to read them, Tamala.
That's okay. I figured. I have a hard time too, Diana. We need to find someone who can make sense of them.
Yeah,
But they're basically, permits to for erosion and land to put in landfills, and for getting water out of the creek and putting stuff into the creek, permits to pollute, basically, just different things. Yeah.
I'd love to do that, but I don't know how to read the permits. And then I really like the idea of getting in my car and finding these places and seeing what they're actually doing, because oftentimes it is not what you think.
That could be a cool road trip.
Yeah.
And just like, for example, with the riparian buffer in Camp Hill, someone was telling me that these riparian buffers are overloaded with poison ivy and ticks. And I said, well, ticks are everywhere. And poison ivy is not an invasive. It's a, what do you call it? Indigenous plant? There's some other word.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
It was in my own garden, and in I don't know. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
I've got poison ivy's part. So I mean, it's everywhere.
So I went to see what she was talking, and this woman is also a geologist. And so I went to see what she was talking about, and I took pictures and videos to say, is this what you're talking about? And while I was there, someone was mowing the riparian buffer in a Kubota kind of mower. And I thought it was public works, but it turned out to be a vigilante. And so I mean, it's like what you were asking me to do. People don't think the watchbird's watching them. I would love to be a watchbird. And that turned out to be very valuable. And also, CCWA planted 108 bare-rooted treelings, and almost half of them have been removed. I made a map of what was supposed to be there and what wasn't. And public works, it turned out, was really glad to have it. It wasn't to scale, it was very rough, but it showed where things should be and where they weren't, and so they had data. So that was the kind of thing you were asking me to do. And
Well,
I'd like to do that, but I need to know how to read the permit so I know where to go. But as far as what I'm doing for Move Past Plastic, oh my, Tamala, I love my fleece. I keep my house at 50 degrees, and fleece is what allows me to survive. So I don't know what I'm going to do about my fleece.
well, you know what? I want you not to stress about it. You've purchased it and use it. Try not to wash it too much. And, you know, yeah. Yeah. Well, you normally wear other clothes and then your fleece. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah, okay.
yeah, you know, yes. And just going forward, maybe you could buy a natural fabric fleece, you know, made out of the alpaca, the different wools, or the, you know what I'm saying? There's other fleece-esque options in natural fabrics. So yes,
Okay.
Danelle.
Okay. Thank you for not being judgmental.
Absolutely not. I've got them myself and I'm not throwing mine away.
Okay.
Fuzzy blankets, right? No, this is a no judgment place. We all are surrounded with it. Just
Okay.
it's better we
To
don't waste
escape.
it in a landfill, right? Don't do that.
Yeah. And it's impossible to escape it. And we're all like, and it's, yeah, better not to get rid of it. And then also, like, the difference of you having fleece blanket or not versus you putting pressure on companies not to take advantage of our waterways, or that's going to make a bigger impact than you not buying a fleece blanket. So
Exactly. Yes. Bravo, Danelle. Right? Legislation change, systemic change. That's what we need, not guilt. We all are doing our best walking in this journey where we are surrounded by almost everything being plastic, including our clothing. We can only do so much. My closet is full of it. I swear, 90% I think is unfortunately polyester, unbeknownst to me, right? But I'm not going to throw it away. But going forward, as best as I can, I will buy natural and I will buy secondhand. Sometimes, as Danelle knows, it's very rare. But sometimes I have been out, like when I've gone to my husband's conference and I went out and I went to a boutique and I bought and it wasn't reused. And I'm not going to get guilty over it. At least I got natural clothing. But, you know, so there's no guilt. We're all walking this journey and it's rough, but we're doing the best we can.
It is really hard.
It's very hard.
and that's what we're fighting to change.
What?
I said, and that's where we want to change. It's impossible. You can't put it on yourself.
Mm-mm.
It's not reasonable.
Do not feel guilty. And in fact, I want you to be the opposite. I want you to go every time you do something good, just cheer and clap, and then let the rest go. That's right. That's right. Let the rest just go. You know, we're all on a slow journey to making changes in our personal lives and through systemic legislation and everything. And that's what this is about. So you guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for helping out with this fashion show. And I'm super excited and super pumped. And I will be sending you this recording, the link to the 2 documents. And so I've got Julia asking about copyright laws for right now. I've got Danelle working on the email that will go out to our models once they register, as well as the flyer. And I have all of us working on the research for what our messaging should be.
I know you're wrapping up and that was beautiful, but really quick, because this was the thing that I was going to maybe take something off of Julia's plate, is that it looks as though we would be in the clear pretty much for anything that we do. And of course, maybe do more digging, but what it looks like is that if it's for personal use and you're not going to use it to make money, then you don't have to worry about a license. And also it's for fair use if it's for educational purposes or to comment, criticize, or parody a piece of music. You can do it without license. So needing that one would have more to look into, but I think we're covered by the fact that we're not making money off of it.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure. Whereas with the High School Musical that you referred to, probably they were selling tickets to the musical.
Yeah, like with Messiah, I think they were planning on doing one and they realized they didn't have the proper clearance. So I'm not up on it. I just knew my nephew's wife researches copyrights, but you understand a lot more. I used to be an art major, and I know there was something about like if you're copying a piece of art. My high school teacher told me this. If you have a piece of an artwork and something that's not the same as like plagiarizing the whole drawing or something. Yeah.
That's what I was saying about the amount of time that we would be playing a song and being important too.
Okay.
Similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know more than I know. Okay.
So you guys feel free to go into these two documents and type away and add anything, and or I understand Diane and Julia, maybe you aren't that tech savvy. Just write it on a piece of paper like I was telling Julia, and take a picture with your phone and send it to me. Or you both are good with email, just type it in an email and send it to me. You just, whatever works for you works for me.
Do you need the names of more reuse places then, or you're done?
I think because of how we're restructuring
We
doing
don't
it,
need to worry about it. Okay.
I do not think so. I
Okay.
think we're done. Now, personally, for me and Danelle, for shopping, if you know of good ones, we want to know because we want to go shopping.
Well, I buy old lady clothes, so the ones that I go to and plus size. So the ones I go to may not be the ones yet. I'm not fashion savvy.
Well,
But I appreciate what you said about the guilt, because I literally have OCD. So now I go to the thrift store where I always buy clothes, and I always look for stuff that's plus size and tall enough for me because I'm tall. And now I'm going, okay, I was right about the cotton. So I'll like find something and it'll be like 4% spandex, and I'm going, oh crap.
No, you can't get
Yeah.
away with it, Julia. Do the best you can.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, and then there might just be an incredibly stunning polyester dress or something, because they make them look like silk and they're so beautiful, and you know, you might just get it. But like it's just where you
Well,
can.
I think the problem is like she was saying, our society is so stuck on the stretchy stuff right now. I've always been a jean woman, but like, you know, with all the stretch, that it's hard to change that dynamic.
But
I
viscous,
liked what
modal and things are coming more out, and how you stitch fabric, you know, it can be stretchy with our natural fabrics without the spandex. That this stuff is coming. It's coming more, and we'll have more access to it as time goes along. And even like with the water repellent tents and clothing and things, like there's a way that they can weave the fabric that makes it like roof tiles, so it sheds and you don't need to put the PFAS or whatever on it. You know, there's a lot of creative ways of doing things. That was an aside. Sorry, I went on a tangent. But anyways, yes. Well,
no, it's important. I liked what Greenpeace said too. There was this argument on Greenpeace when people would say, how can you fight for climate? You're driving a gas car. And the guy gave a response. He said, well, you know, when they were trying to abolish slavery, abolitionists still wore cotton shirts that were made by slaves because they didn't have an alternative. And I thought that was a good response.
That is a great response.
I was on a Greenpeace page, and I thought, yeah, because it's so easy to point out, well, you say you want to stop, but you're driving a gas car. Well, you know, we're only starting to get alternatives at this point.
Yeah. Well, our next meeting, I believe, is Monday, because you know it's normally the third Monday of the month. but I'm going to be out of town. So next Monday is the next MPP meeting, and we'll continue this discussion as well as talk about a few of the other initiatives that we want to continue to work on. In particular, the artificial turf. We want to push that because municipalities are just putting them in left and right, because I just heard Cumberland Valley just put in an artificial turf. So we need to do that. And so in fact, if someone could take my toolkit letter, I realized it's not you know, an email letter, like it's not really a good email letter, like for people to like copy and paste and email it to their school superintendent, the Parks and Rec director, and to the municipal leaders. So I would love help just shrinking and restructuring an email to each of those 3 different sectors of our community for people to use, because that'll make the toolkit much more helpful. But we can get into that later. So good evening, ladies. I appreciate you, and we will see you Monday, 6:30. The Zoom link went out in the email that told you when our next meeting is. Some of you might have already signed up for reoccurring meetings, and when I switched it to this Monday, you should have received a message about it. Okay, and if you don't have or can't find a way to register for Monday's meeting, just email me and I'll send you a link. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Tamala.
Bye. Have a good night,
Nice to meet
everyone.
you all. See you all again.